Welcome back, everybody, to Clashing Conferences podcast. Here to look back at week 12 and look forward to week 13. In week 12, we had Philly in a very, very big win against Buffalo, winning 37-34. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk about that game today. We had the Giants squeaking a very low-scoring game out 10-7 against the Patriots. And we had Dallas absolutely crushing Paul's Redskin Commanders 45-10. Just real quick before we get started, I want to thank Bobby from Talking Giants for joining us last week. Had a great show with him on as a guest. In our internal competition, we had three scores last week, or three categories last week. We had most points, which was won by Dallas. We had turnover with Dallas by a lot, with 45. Philly wasn't too far behind at 37. Turnover differential was a little bit of a weak one. Giants win at +2. Get a point there for Chris. And quarterback rating went to Dak and Dallas. So 2 points for Randy this week, and the Giants and
I think
the Cowboys.
called that. I think
Yeah,
I
you
called
do.
that.
1
called
point
that,
for
didn't I,
the
Mike?
Giants.
I think I
Chris
said it was going to be
Peterson.
a sweep of Dallas. So
Yeah, I think I said 2-1. I think I said Dallas was going to get those two, and we win the turnovers.
Chris,
Pretty sure.
you correctly predicted all three. You are correct. You had a heck of a good week on your predictions, with also getting the wins right, I believe, as well. So very, very good week on your picks.
It's been that last few weeks.
Speaking of QBR, we got to revisit this, boys. Chris's complaining made me do a little bit of investigation last week.
All right.
And in retrospect, I was wrong on that first episode when I gave Randy a point for QBR a couple of weeks ago. That should have gone to Chris.
You cannot go back and take
And
points.
here's why.
And I've been saying it every week, and everybody calls me stupid.
You have been saying it every week.
Yeah.
Quarterback
been calling the picks
rating,
right, calling the
there's
games
two
right.
things.
I'm right about Jalen Hurts. Let's go.
There's QBR and there's passer rating, okay? QBR stands for quarterback rating, and that's what's on our wheel. It says quarterback rating, not passer rating. So I was incorrect initially with that. Just to give the difference, passer rating is an official NFL stat. QBR is something that ESPN made up just to
Randy.
include additional things like rushing and how far passes go and sacks and some other things that aren't included in passer rating. So we're giving that point retroactively to Chris and the Giants.
Let's go.
Current season-long scores, that actually puts Chris in the lead at 13. Randy and Gregg, you guys are at 12 apiece. Paul not too far behind at 6.
So can I transfer points? Because I would like to transfer Ryan to Chris if I can, or at least a couple. I want to make sure he wins. I mean, I hope everybody, if everybody on his team dies, I don't care. But as long as he wins, the points thing, and wins absolutely nothing.
Why don't you donate your points to me next week? Donate your points to me this week, because I'm on bye, and it'll just help me.
And by the way,
are you saying you're taking points from me and giving it to Topher?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't it be great if the NFL would do that with Eagles games? Like if they could actually re-look at them and
like call after the games, and then they get the calls right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Go ahead. You were going to say something?
I actually like that.
Yeah. I was actually going to say,
a bunch of other sports do the protest thing where you can submit a protest afterwards. 99% of the time it doesn't do anything, but baseball and other sports, they'd be like, well, we submitted a submission of protest on this. I'm like, oh, okay.
The biggest kick in the ass. We're sorry. We did get the play call wrong. However, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, well, unlike the NFL, I'm not afraid to admit I was incorrect initially. So,
and I'll send everybody the link. It is so convoluted how you get the passer rating. It's broken down into 4 categories: completions. You take your completions, divided that by attempts, minus 0.3, times that by 5. Then you take your yards, divide that by attempts, minus 3, times that by 0.25. Then you take your touchdowns, divide that by a 10. It's just convoluted.
And
So,
this is how Daniel Jones wins passer rater of the week.
Well, good thing for you, Randy, is that this week Dak would have won both QBR and passer rating, so you were safe in week 12. But that's a summary of last week. I think Randy with the big win and the 2 points in the internal competition this week. Why don't you lead us off?
All right. Well, I was going to start with the games, but I want to bring in my guest today. I actually thought I would bring in a guest from another team this week. So if I could welcome Dustin Buckwalter, just come in. Current number 1 Eagles player here for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Here jokes. I like it.
We have we have quite the
wow,
quite the team here. Hopefully he lets me talk because he is an Eagles ref. But anyway, wanted to talk a little bit about the
talk
Buffalo.
about a 12th man.
The absolute 12th, 13th. It could be a 17th or 18th man. But anyway, wanted to start off with talking about the Buffalo game, obviously, because there was quite a few interesting things that I feel like happened on that game. And again, Bass missing 2 field goals. Somehow the Eagles making a 59-yard field goal. Obviously, that it comes down to that in the end.
In the rain.
Obviously, in the rain. Obviously, it still chaps my butt watching very obvious calls. And it's like,
I will say, I think one was blocked, though, right? I think the one was blocked.
Yes, the one was blocked.
But was that the one? Was that the one on the non-horse collar intentional grounding one? Is that when he kicked that field goal, or was that the other field goal? Do you guys remember that?
No, I think he made that one from the horse collar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it wasn't a horse collar. Just review it, please. For me, watch it more than once in slow motion.
Both sides of the jersey were ripped apart.
Hey,
they weren't ripped.
The ref's throwing a flag. It's a non-topic. So, it was definitely not a horse collar.
I can't remember where they were on the field, but if they call the horse collar and then they call the intentional grounding, you cancel it out, you redo the play. I mean, they might get a first down. They might even score a touchdown on that drive. That's a big call.
I didn't see everything on that play. I only seen the intentional grounding. I did not see no horse collar.
Yeah. You need to change your glasses, bud.
This is every Philadelphia game. This is how we do it.
So hold on. So all I'm saying at the end of it, obviously that one was a little bothersome. It's 5 yards from the referee, and it's like, how do you not catch it? Call it. The hold on Stephon Diggs. Another big play. But again, it's like you got to go back to Bass misses 2 field goal, block, miss, and freaking Elliott makes his field goal. I mean, in the end of it, it comes down to that.
He's a beast, though.
Yeah, it's true. It's depressing to watch. It's sad. Do I wish things were different? I do. But in the end of it, Eagles made the tough field goal. Buffalo did not. And it's like, I'll say it every time, Gregg. I don't know. I'd love to see a game where there's no referee controversy, but it feels like it's every week. It's referee controversy in Philadelphia.
Yep. You do say it every week.
I do.
Hey, and I would like to point out that Gregg actually this time, after a couple of calls, kind of raised an eyebrow himself. You did kind of admit that things were like, a little suspect in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first half they were suspect, but the other thing that you guys don't conveniently point out is the second half penalty discrepancies. You guys don't talk about that and how there were 4 or 5 penalties on the Eagles and
3.
1 on 3. Sorry, 3 for 25,
35,
and 1 for 5 against Buffalo. You don't call that out. You just conveniently talk about the first one. Also, seriously, watch the video. He grabs his jersey, rips it, puts his hand on the back of his shoulder pad, and pulls down. He's not grabbing the back. He's pulling him down. It is not a horse collar.
I've seen less violence in Final Destination fatalities than that tackle.
Dude, I thought he was
straight out of Mortal Kombat.
He whipped him around. I'm telling you, if that would have been Jalen Hurts, that field would have been yellow.
Oh, if that would have been Tom Brady or any of these people.
Any other quarterback in the NFL.
Daniel Jones,
they don't.
Jalen Hurts.
It's the other way around when it's Daniel Jones. They let him get beat up.
I gotta say, going forward, Eagles continually squeak out wins. They do one thing better than any other team, and that's they know how to win. And no matter what, as irritating as it is, they figure out a way to get a win. And to me, again, I say it comes down to coaching. My boys, I think my boys are going to give you a run for your money as long as we stay healthy, Gregg, in 2 weeks in Dallas. I think we're going to have quite an interesting game. You know what else is interesting is San Francisco is favored over you this week with 3 losses. I find that a very interesting statistic.
I love it.
Turns out
so some experts. Randy.
Turns out some experts in Las Vegas don't think Philly's all they're chapped up to be either. It's not just me and maybe Dustin over here. But the one other... Go ahead.
I don't know how much I want to chime into that, but I definitely am not a big fan of the whole Vegas being involved in football anymore. I want to go back to a comment about the 3 penalties in the second half that were called against the Eagles that you're talking about for 35 yards or whatever. Mm-hmm. How many penalties in the yardages were called against Buffalo in the first half?
I think there was...
I don't know. They ended with 11.
10.
So 10.
But 10 300 yards, right?
10,
I always feel like it's always at the perfect
those
opportunity
penalties,
time, though.
Absolutely. Those 3 penalties in the second half for 35 yards.
That didn't mean anything. The last drive where Kelsey phantomly moved the ball.
He moved. He
did not move the ball.
Everybody said that's what everybody's staring at.
That's what Tony Romo said. He's the announcer.
Well, he's the only one I think.
Tony Romo hates the Cowboys anymore.
Oh,
he did.
He was the one. He was the one who said. He was the one who said that wasn't a fumble on Brown. I think he was one of the only ones who said it wasn't
a fumble by A.J. Brown.
That was a football move.
Definitely a fumble.
That was definitely a football move.
All right. So we got to get on to these. Let's stop talking about the damn Eagles. We got other teams to talk about here, like the Commanders.
There's nothing to talk about there. Nothing to talk about there.
We're done there. What you got something to talk about, Chris?
No, I'm just saying there's nothing to talk about with the Commanders. There's nothing to talk about with the Commanders because hold up. He talks shit on my team and my quarterbacks every week, and I love Paul, but his team ain't even relevant. This is his team. This is his quarterback.
Chris, they did better against us than you guys did.
They can't even beat us. They can't even beat us. They're 7-1-1 against them. I don't want to hear Paul's shit anymore, but they don't count. We don't worry about the Commanders. They're always at the bottom. The only thing they got is more Super Bowls than the Eagles, and that's it. Other than that, they ain't nothing. They're not even worth arguing about. You want to talk about the Giants?
That's how I feel about the Giants.
They got more points than the Giants did.
The Giants are banged up. The Giants are banged up, dude. They're not. This ain't our roster.
Well, the Commanders took away half their defense, and they still put
They just did. They don't put up points against us. That's what I was trying to tell Gregg. If our team was actually healthy and roll, we'd have 8 wins right now. We'd have 8 wins right now. That's injuries. We absolutely would have 8 wins right now. We would be 6-6.
Jones, a quarterback.
Even with the garbage that we're rolling out there. Even with what we're rolling out there with right now, with no Wilder and nothing,
Tyrod Taylor.
That's my man.
And he is going to be playing. And I wish he wasn't, but you're right. I do agree with you guys. They will throw him back in because as of right now, when they put that little diagram up, we're in the hunt. We can still make the playoffs now. And we should.
There it is. There it is.
I don't care. I want to win. I want to win.
I feel like they have a better chance of making it without Daniel Jones there. Daniel Jones looks like Eli Manning, but he's nowhere near as good as Daniel Jones, and he's the biggest waste of money in New York.
Our offensive line is starting to play better. If they would have been together all year, when Kelsey or somebody's out there and somebody does a stunt, they don't even got to think about it. It's like tying your shoes. They know what the guy beside them is going to do. They know how they're going to react. These guys were all new, never played together, bunch of rookies. Now they're starting to gel. We got our left tackle back. We didn't have him for almost 9 games. It's a huge difference. DeVito's still getting sacked because he don't process. He's processing things slow. But when he goes for it, when he gets some time and he can throw the ball. I like him. He's not no franchise quarterback, Gregg. I know he's not the next thing.
I know he's not.
But I'm not going to not talk about him. It's my squad.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him. I want him to play. I want him to win.
He did have one.
And now my receiver's starting to break out. We do have a receiver. We do have a receiver.
He did have one.
We do have a receiver. Highest going to blow up.
Paul, I did want to hear about your take on the Cowboys-Washington game. What went wrong? Where did it go wrong? Because it was pretty close until the end of the third quarter.
Well, as soon as they did the coin toss.
It's always the defense. Gosh, Chris, stop saying that you like me because I do not like you. Your face is ugly. Go away.
That's fine, buddy.
Leave me alone.
It's all good.
So, but
I want you
it's
to be
about
mad
as
at
ugly
me.
as it's about as ugly as our defense, and that's pretty bad. So we did fire the defensive coordinator, so I'm very happy about that. You know, the problem is I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks. The offense can only do so much. You know, if they're always under pressure because the defense is just letting up. You know, you got to score over 30. Like you have to score over 30 if you're going to win. And that's tough on he's not necessarily a rookie, but pretty much a rookie quarterback. You know, he didn't start all the games last year, so he's still technically a rookie.
I don't even think he played 17 games yet. Yeah.
No. So I mean, I'm still very happy with how he's playing, and in retrospect, kind of the offense, you know, altogether. You know, I was really worried about Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence getting through there, but you know, we only had one interception. We had more first downs, almost more yards. You know, I think they out yardaged us by like 40 or 50. We had more rushing yards, which, you know, we hit over 100 yards, which, you know, opens up the passing game that I always preach. We had time of possession was 50% more than them. And ironically, all three teams that lost this week all had 50% more time of possession than the people they lost to. All of them had more first downs, and all but one of them out yardaged the team that beat them. So it's all about the timeliness. And what was killing me, because I was watching this at my brother's house at Thanksgiving, and 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, couldn't get it at all. No matter how many tries, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what part of the field. The 1 yard to go is what the hardest play. You would have thought it was 3rd and 37 every time. It was absolutely impossible. But 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, we had multiples of each of those and never converted at all. So it's just untimely giving up the ball, not turning it over, but giving up the ball. You know, Sam Howell looked like Sam Howell. You know, he threw 45 passes.
Yards.
Oh yeah, close to 300 yards. You know, he did throw one pick, but it was, you know, that wasn't like, you know, one that he would have, not like one for, like, he didn't make a dumb mistake. It was just kind of like a freak thing. So, you know, the Cowboys are good. You know, there's no question. You could really say, you know, you can hate the Cowboys, and everybody does. You're American if you hate the Cowboys. But, you know, I look forward to watching their games and the Eagles games against some of these contenders. I really wanted Buffalo to win against the Eagles. And it's not about it being the freaking Eagles. I don't care who it was. I want to see them in the playoffs because they're a fun team to watch. So, I mean, at the least, I wanted that to come down to just a tie. But obviously that didn't happen. But again, you know, there were some glaring discrepancies in how I think a lot of people watched it on TV to how it was on the field. I definitely do see, and I've never really jumped on that bandwagon or put my 2 cents in about the refs and Eagles games. But I definitely had a little bit of an aha moment during this one for sure. There were quite a few times, and they happened at big times, like mammoth
like every
times
week
during the game. Yeah,
all the time.
So
just at the right time for the birds.
Yeah, so I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. And all right, hey, stop! I'm making a point. Zip it.
Yeah.
So now I want to talk about the Giants. I am absolutely going to talk about the Giants.
Go for it.
I don't care if you beat us. If we never beat you ever,
you probably won't. That's good.
Your team blows. Your coach
right now
blows.
They do.
Your GM blows. Your quarterback blows.
Quarterback's going to be our starter next year when he gets healthy.
You're right, he is, and his name is Tyrod Taylor.
He has to be.
He's not. It's going to be Daniel Jones.
You can't afford not to. You can't get rid of
him.
It's going to cost you like.
Shane already said
so much money to get rid of.
He already said, like, I'm taking the best player available when it's that pick. So, a best player available whenever we pick now is not going to be a QB.
You're right. Because
he might get a QB. He might get one in the 2nd round.
Pick.
He might get one in the 3rd round. But
we're going to be watching the playoffs on the couch, watching these other knuckleheads, their teams play, and we're going to be sitting there wondering what happened when you had the number 2 pick and now you got the 10th pick and I'm up in the top 5. I mean, all I want to see is what we got. we did trade our best defensive players. We just ditched the defensive coordinator, and Riverboat Ron is now calling defensive plays. All that's going to do is just ensure he gets fired too. So I'm completely fine with that. But I want to see what else we got. It's fine, and I mean it's a pretty resilient team. You don't see people going nuts on the sidelines like the Steelers players, some of the other players, and even honestly, it was even the Eagles early in the year. Bunch of bitchy millionaires over there. They stick together and they still play hard and they want to be there and they want to play. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm not delusional about anything, which, obviously you are, Chris.
I'm not delusional. I'm not expecting to go anywhere. I'm happy that I go to a game and see a win.
The Giants against the Jets. That was eye gouging. And whatever is worse than that was what this was. This was such a bad game to watch. Dude, the Bills had more offense than both your teams combined.
Jones.
Awful. No.
Mac Jones had 89 yards and 2
I don't want
picks.
a stat.
Awful.
No, it's absolutely awful. Both quarterbacks are horrible.
Bad teams.
Both quarterbacks are horrible. And I'm not talking about Danny DeVito. I'm talking about the franchises for each of those. Unbelievable. Both quarterbacks are gone from your teams. Both coaches are going down. Both of you are going nowhere. It's ungodly how bad it is to watch the Giants play football. And you know what happens when you play us? Yes, you'll throw up 30 points. It's going to be, a good thing to watch.
So what does that make you?
Just a regular freaking football team. Just try to get by. Yeah. But we don't embarrass ourselves. Good Lord, we don't embarrass the sport. Like, dude, Tom Brady, even Tom Brady was talking about this week. Stop. You didn't win anything. Dude,
we won the game.
Dude, you're on a bye this week and you're still going to be a loser. You're on the bye and you're still going to be a loser this week. Just like
I am, because I ain't going to be able to watch my squad.
Yes, well.
And all of America's very.
But then I get to go to Monday night the following week, so I'm ready.
Well, then bring your binoculars and don't lean back too far. I know. No. Don't. Let me do the line.
This would have been another win. This would have been another win.
Dude, I love my seats.
I love my seats.
There you go. Yeah. So no, that was.
You done hating, brother?
Dude. It's just bad football. I'm not just you. The whole state's pretty bad.
And
watching the Jets play, watching the Patriots play. It's
been watching it for years.
Football. Bad football. You know what the viewership was of our game on Thanksgiving versus your game? Holy crap!
I would hope so. It was the backup Danny DeVito Giants and the Patriots. They were like,
are you serious? On the NFL shop, I bet he's got the #1 selling jersey from anywhere from north of Maryland to east of Michigan. He's got to be the #1 selling jersey.
It's probably still Kelsey because of Taylor Swift.
No, and by the way, thanks, geography major. I said to the east of Michigan.
It still could be Kelsey. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where. I mean, you got people in Canada that like the Cowboys.
That's also true.
Yeah, I think. I would like to take a vote. I think Chris has actually chimed in more than enough on everybody's so far, so I think he's going to forfeit his time, and Gregg can just go now, and Chris will put his 2 cents in for 2 minutes.
I think that's a good idea.
Chris, on behalf of you, I'd like to thank Dustin for coming today. And Bobby Skinner, thanks for coming out last week. We appreciate it. How about them Eagles, boys? Come on, let's get excited. Hype, man.
A lot of clapping going on.
We did talk about it. I mean, that's how when you're faced with adversity, which is going to happen in the playoffs.
That's what happens.
It's what you're going to need. So it's unbelievable how it can keep happening. But
is he him? Earlier in the game, I'm getting threats that Jalen Hurts he's horrible. Our coach is overrated. Our Jalen is not a good quarterback, and then he does what he does, and he's him. He is, in my opinion,
second half. You got your help, and everything went well for you as usual.
Yeah, listen,
I told you. Did you see him at halftime? Though he was looking rough at halftime. He was very dejected.
He was hurt. He was injured. We wake up in the morning, and Lane Johnson hurts his groin, so he's like, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. Doesn't play, so we were missing our right tackle. Our backup tight end, after our real Pro Bowl tight end gets his arm broken from the Dallas Cowgirls, cheap shot. So we lose our backup tight end early in the game. I know. We get our inside linebacker, Cunningham, gets hurt. We lose our safety and another cornerback. So, Yeah, we struggled. We did. We struggled in the first half. I mean, you guys, again, you talk about the refs and this, that, and the other. You know, I did make a comment. You know, some of the calls I was like, ooh, okay, some no calls, some calls. But to be honest with you, the second half, I thought it was well officiated. I really did. Again, maybe that's my homer bias, but that's what I see. I mean, again, I just sent you guys the text message in the group that to me is not a horse collar. I'll talk about that for the next couple of weeks, probably. You know, but enough about defending my penalties. You know, here we are going in the next week. We are home dogs, and nothing fires up this team as being the underdogs. And then you got Debo Samuel running his mouth. You know, I'm pumped for next week. I'm excited. We'll talk about that in a little bit later. You know, it's crazy to me.
Reddick's running his mouth too.
No, that was in the summer. That was over the summer, and he basically was talking to basically Debo was crying because they got beat. Debo's like, you know, we'll with Purdy out there, we beat you double digits. We'll see Sunday. You know, there's a little interesting fact that Purdy has never won a game in the rain. Well, guess what's going to happen Sunday, boys? It's going to be a soaker. So we'll see. I mean, again, 49ers are a great team. I'm excited for the game. I think it's going to be very interesting. You know, I look at the rest of our schedule. I love it. You know, the gauntlet. We were supposed to win 1-2 of these games at the most, and here we are. We got the Niners, by the way, are going to be on a 10 game rest, 10-day rest. Sorry about that. Then we go to Dallas, where Dallas will be on a 10-day rest, and then Seattle. So, you know, we got to get through. We've got to win 2 of our next 3 games. You know, I'm also very interested to find out what happens tomorrow. Right now, Shaq Leonard is down in Dallas getting swooned by Jerry Jones.
No. Actually, you're wrong.
He's in Dallas right now and coming to Philly tomorrow.
No, he's not. He left with no contract. He's visiting you son of a bitch. He's
That's
going to sign
you.
there. Like the other Pro Bowl players that, I mean, we know who Shaq Leonard is, but like your other guy, Baird, that nobody knew. He's like, oh, all pro. Let's just keep stacking them up.
So my point was he's visiting Dallas.
Greedy bastards. You greedy bastards.
Buying the Super Bowl.
I guarantee you he signs there.
They
already
bought the Super Bowl. Our ref over here drove a Bentley to Philadelphia.
This is where I'll agree. This is why I'll agree with Gregg, because you know what? Like, this is why, like, we were in a bad situation with Gettleman. Like, he put us in a bad, terrible cap space, bad contracts. They got one of the best GMs. Like, he does a hell of a job. And I complain that Jones struggles because of what's around him. And you got to do what they do. You got to put a good team around your quarterback, man.
You have to. I mean, I think overall, I think the game went well against Buffalo. I think we played pretty well. Our defense played decently. I think our offense, second half, obviously down big at halftime. Coming back, you know, that's adversity. We've been down the last 3 weeks at halftime and come back. You know, it is what it is. And I think that we're going to pick it up and start clicking now, I think is what's going to happen. Am I afraid of the Niners? Niners are a good team. Again, Dallas is a good team. The Niners are a good team. But, you know, and again, this may be my Cowboy hate, but like everybody is just Dak this, Dak that, Cowboys this. I mean, they haven't
Dak's
played
playing well, man.
But they haven't played anybody with a winning record yet.
Neither did you last year.
I know, and that's kind of what my point. You know, we were kind of like, oh, you guys suck, you haven't played anybody.
And then you
and
lost.
I know you have to play your competition. But last year we won all our games. We didn't lose to an Arizona on the road. We didn't lose to bad teams. We won. So I guess that is like you got to prove it. And you know, next week we're coming to town, and then after that, I don't know. Dallas has.
Gregg, don't forget we were an inch and a half away from beating you. Like,
this is true.
You keep saying we haven't won a good team. I mean, it's an interesting stack, but
and they outplayed you in pretty much every category but the final score. Like they can beat you. See, when I said they were going to have a downfall, I really thought Buffalo was going to beat you, and they should have beat you, man. The first half they were beating you. They probably should have had more points than 17. I saw bad calls at the end of the first half when they got down in the red zone. They kept pushing them out of the red zone. It seemed like every time they got down in the red zone, the refs managed to get them out of the red zone. And then I did. I thought you were going to lose that game. I do feel like you're going to lose the Niners game. I feel like you're going to lose the Cowboys game. I honestly looked at the next 4 games. You play Seattle. I see you possibly going 1-3 there, but it messed me up. It messed up my theory.
Are going to beat them once. Prediction.
I think the Giants are going to beat them once.
No, stop.
No, there's zero chance of that.
It might
zero
be
chance of that.
No, it's not true.
Chris,
it could be the last game of the season.
Hey,
like
Chris,
Bobby said, they could.
I will put money that the Giants do not have a better record at the end of the year than the Redskins.
I think they will.
I didn't say that. I didn't talk about thinking. I said I will bet that the Giants will have the Redskins will have it.
Why don't you bet the money that you still owe Uncle Randy?
Go ahead. I don't owe him money. Go ahead and put some money on that then.
How much? I don't. I mean, how much?
I'm not betting you. I don't do all that. I don't get into that.
Listen, we're not doing this live on TV. All right.
It's on YouTube. But go ahead.
Whatever.
But Greg, I do want to say one thing about the Eagles though. I give 110% award to Jordan Davis. That fat bastard running after Josh Allen was incredible. He took a big swing and just barely missed tripping him up. Now, unfortunately, he fell right on that big ass belly and he literally knocked the wind out of himself and had to sit there for like 3 minutes. Like, is he injured? No, he just needs a minute. He's fine.
He's tired.
Yeah.
ESPN, the mothership, had him running at 16.9, I think, miles an hour.
That's absolutely faster than I am. There's no question. A lot faster than I would run right now. I would be screaming if that grizzly bear was behind me.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
I might run faster if that grizzly bear was behind me.
So I just want to throw out that 110% award. I know we're getting to the end and we need to wrap it up.
We are running quite long. I want to give Chris a chance. I mean, you've been chiming in here and there, but didn't really get your moment. You're good. Okay.
We're good.
Well, listen, before we hang up here on the first half, Dustin, I want to thank you for coming on with us here. I'm loving your props from the ref T-shirt to the tissues to the flag to all that stuff. I have 2 quick questions for Dustin before we go. A little test here to see if when we're ready to can Randy, if he's going to audition as a replacement here. Just in general, Dustin, do you know each week when the Cowboys are going to play?
I pay close attention to the Cowboys, probably more so than anybody else. Anybody else's team in here.
You're one step on Randy. One step up on Randy already.
Ask him this week.
Ask me what? We play Thursday night on Prime.
Oh man, he's better.
He got you, Randy. My second question, and this is something I haven't brought back up to Randy yet because I just realized it today. Can you pronounce your backup running back's name?
Waddle.
Rico Dowdle.
You got it. Thank you very much for teaching your friend and fellow Cowboy fan a few things tonight. We appreciate having you on, and we'll be back shortly to move into part 2 of the show.
Thanks for having me, boys. Appreciate it. Sorry I didn't get to talk a little more crap to you, as I really wanted to get him to Gregg a little bit, but we'll get it some other time.
Everybody else got a hold of him.
Hey, go Cowboys.
All right, brother. Nice to meet you.
Yep, nice meeting you, boys.
See you, Dustin.
See ya.
Shut up, Chris.
All right, we are back with part 2 and looking forward to week 13. Give a quick rundown of the games coming up. We got Philly hosting San Francisco. San Francisco favored by 2.5 points. That was a surprise to, I think, all of us here, or at least most of us. Dallas is hosting San Francisco. Dallas is favored by 9.
Hey, Mike,
on a real sports book.
Mike, I don't know if you're watching, but Dallas is not hosting San Francisco.
They're hosting Seattle.
Oh, yeah, Seattle. Sorry. My apologies.
Okay, if you're not a real sports fan, it's fine.
Washington is getting 9.5 points hosting the Dolphins. Let's get into our wheel spin here. We'll get 3 new categories for this week to root for.
All right, here we go.
Chris, you can finish whatever points you were trying to make. You got 3 seconds.
2.
Well played.
Oh, time out of time.
Team wins. So that's one that Chris is not going to get this week with the Giants on bye, but We'll see how many teams can get a team win. Let's get a second category for us here.
Did you say Chris is in the lead now, Mike?
Yeah.
Thanks to your point.
Really?
Isn't it wild that like when Randy was winning, he was on by. Now it's crazy how it's working out.
Yeah.
Interceptions is going to be category number 2.
Total defense.
Let's do it one more time.
Boy.
Receiving touchdowns, team total. So that'll be our 3 categories for the week. Why don't we lead off with Chris, since he didn't get to talk as much in the first half of the episode. And real quick, I want to point out Chris had a heck of a week last week on the second half. You picked all 3 of the categories. You had Dallas with the most points, Dak with the QBR. You had the Giants with the turnover differential. You had Dallas and the Giants both getting wins. You had the Bills wrong with you saying they would get a win, but you were absolutely right saying that Josh Allen was going to have a huge game. So your predictions were as on point as anybody's all year last week. So go ahead and lead us off, Chris.
Thanks, brother. Well, I'll keep this short, Paul, because my team's not playing. We'll go right into the pick. So Phillies +2 against the Niners. It's not a surprise to me. Like I really. Is it 3 or 2?
2.5.
2.5. All right. I really thought the Bills were going to get them. They did have a good second half. They did get a little help from the refs, but they pulled it out. But I see the Niners winning this game. I see them winning this game, and they definitely cover. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll go down to the fourth quarter, but I do think the Niners will pull this out. I don't think Hurts is a bad quarterback, Greg. I've always said he was a good quarterback. I don't put him in the top 4, 5, 6. I keep him in that same middle range.
Jeez.
Like the team. He's not.
Danny Dimes up there.
Holy disrespect,
Listen.
Batman.
Just like I'm gonna bring Bobby into it. You met him last week. He loved you guys. He really appreciated you, having you guys talking to him and having him on. Me and him do feel the same way. We don't have all the same views about Danny. I feel like you put him on the Cowboys, you put him on the Eagles, he tear it up. Hurts, great situation. He has 14 turnovers this year. Like they cover up his.
Let me just point out what Bobby Skinner said last week to you was he's coming off a torn ACL and a neck injury.
I agree with that.
Never play football again, and you're still saying he's better than Jalen Hurts?
I never said he's better. I never said he's
really
better.
going with this card.
You're not backing down. I'm not backing down from this. I never said he's better. I'm saying you put him on the Eagles, he tears it up like Jalen Hurts.
You're saying he's as good as
I'm saying Hurts is a good quarterback. The team around him makes him look better than what he is. They hide his mistakes. I think he's going to make some mistakes. He throws interceptions. He has 10 this year. He has 14 turnovers. They're still winning games. I mean, the supporting cast around him.
I do. Stop being so non-committal. If you're going to talk about it, talk about it.
Yeah.
Is Jalen Hurts?
And Daniel Jones.
Who's going to the Super Bowl? Who's a better chance going to the Super Bowl? Jalen Hurts on the Eagles or Daniel Jones on the Eagles?
The Eagles right now. Daniel Jones ain't even playing.
What in the world is wrong with you? You put Daniel Jones on the Eagles. You said the Eagles are going to lose in the Super Bowl. If Daniel Jones was on the team and healthy, would they win the Super Bowl?
Daniel Jones in the Super Bowl last year? I think they could have. Jalen Hurts played great in the Super Bowl last year.
Oh, my God. Can we move on? He's not going to answer it.
He won't answer.
Hold on. I got one for you then, Greg.
You're asking me if a healthy Daniel Jones was on the Eagles right now?
Would they win a Super Bowl?
I think they absolutely would win a Super Bowl. I think you replaced Dak last year with Daniel Jones. Eagles don't go to the Super Bowl. The Cowboys do. I do think Daniel Jones is better than Dak Prescott.
If Daniel Jones was on any team other than the Giants, that team would go to the Super Bowl every year.
No.
So
not what I'm saying.
I got a question.
Just Dallas and
Why
Philly.
are we talking about Daniel Jones? You want to get to this
Because my
segment.
point is you are telling me that Jalen Hurts is a 10-6 rated quarterback in the league.
That's not what I'm saying.
You just said he's not top 6.
I tell you every week, you guys give me shit about what I say, but you don't listen. I'm saying there's 3 top quarterbacks, man. None of our quarterbacks are there.
He's not even 6, is what you just said.
Saying you put him on
the flag. Review the tape.
I'm gonna tell him you put him on the Giants, he struggles. You put him on like all these bad teams, he struggles. He don't elevate them.
Chris,
he ain't gonna elevate them like he's doing in Philly.
Chris, he's
doing it because of the line and the supporting cast around him. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying he's overrated, dude.
So, Chris, then here's one. What if you take Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, and switch teams? Who does better?
I think honestly, they're almost the same player. Like they really are.
So here's a newsflash.
You could possibly get the same scenario.
You do realize that you build your team around your quarterback.
100%.
That's the goal of the team.
I agree with you.
So you build your offense to make your quarterback a better player.
I wish when Dave Gettleman was there, I wish he wasn't there, but I wish when he was there, he would have been smarter and built a better team around Daniel Jones.
You would have never drafted Daniel Jones at 6th overall or whatever.
Maybe not if Dave Gettleman
if you had a competent GM.
Nobody expected that pick. He wanted him.
Yeah.
He loved Daniel Jones, but I don't understand why we're even talking about this.
Because you're telling me
he's not even playing football.
A top 6
What does that have to do with you bringing up Daniel Jones? I'll tell you why.
You're telling me Daniel Jones is.
I don't think it. I'll tell you why I don't think it. We don't need to talk about Daniel Jones.
Listen, it's very cut and dry. It is cut and dry. Simple question. The question is, do you think Daniel Jones is as good as Jalen Hurts?
In the right situation, absolutely. 100%.
You always have like caveats, like
100%
if statements.
There's no why. You need your team. You need your supporting cast. If they keep him and he gets healthy and they build right around him, I think he can win a Super Bowl. Yes, I think he can. And I think the Niners are going to show and have him. They'll probably win the interception thing, the turnover thing. Is it interceptions or turnovers?
Interception.
Hurts can almost guarantee he's going to throw a pick this week. He throws interceptions. He has 10 right now. Dak only has 6. I think Dak's playing better than Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts is number 7 this year behind.
I think it's 6 now.
Is it really? Because I was just looking at it the other day, and it's like you don't. Tua's up there too, but I think Tua's number 9 or something.
Josh Allen's up there too.
Josh Allen's number 1.
Yeah, they're not playing like he's still a great quarterback. I think
he's top 3 quarterback still.
I think he's way better than Jalen Hurts. I think he's way better than Daniel Jones. I think he's way better than Dak Prescott.
We need to move on because I'm just getting a whole lot of gas here, and I'm about to blow the biggest fart that anybody's ever heard if I keep hearing this crap.
Hey man, you want to talk and bring it up? I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to tell you my opinion. You guys twist my words and put it your way, but
you can't twist your words because you never say anything. You never say anything.
You're bringing up Daniel Jones when we're talking about Jalen Hurts. It's stupid.
But do you know why I'm bringing it up? Because you're telling me that Jalen Hurts is
telling you why I think
top 5
the Eagles
quarterback.
are going to lose this week. I don't think he is a top 5 quarterback.
So hold on. Steve just put up a good message. If you were going to pick right now as franchise quarterback to start your team with, would it be Jalen Hurts or Daniel Jones?
And you're an idiot if you say Daniel Jones.
I would take either one of them. You can call me an idiot all you want. Flip a coin. They're kind of the same player.
They're not the same player.
Somebody call Bobby.
This argument,
get Bobby on here.
Thank you, Mike.
About for an hour, and let's get to
absolutely.
Chris's picks.
It's pointless. It's pointless. Right. Philly 49ers. I'm taking the Niners. I think they'll cover. Dallas, Seattle. It's going to be a good one, but Dallas is and he's going to be mad at me for this. I know Dallas lost to you, but I think they're a good team, man. When they put dude, when they put it together, and they thump your ass. I think they're gonna thump Seattle. I don't think Gino's that great. Dallas will win and Dallas will cover. Washington, this could be a tricky one. The way I do like Sam Howell. He throws the ball a lot. I like him throwing 40, 50 times a game. I agree with Paul.
Like you.
1,000% what you said. It's almost a role reversal than the Giants. You're saying your offense has to go out and put 30, 40 points up or they're not going to win. Our defense has to go out and hold you to 7 or we're not going to win. They were holding teams to 10.5, 11. That's why we were winning them in them games when we were squeaking these games out and losing to the Jets, losing to the Bills. We were playing good defense, can't score, can't move the ball. I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm going to say Dolphins definitely win. I can't guarantee they cover. I'm going to say they don't cover, but they'll win the game. And as for the wheel, Dallas will get the team win. I don't think Philly's going to win. I don't think Washington's going to win. I think the Niners will. Well, they're not in the competition. I think they will win if they were in the competition. So I'm going to go with Dallas. I'm just going to crapshoot. Dallas will get more interceptions and receiving touchdowns. I'm going to say clean sweep. Dallas. I think Dallas is going to win that this week.
Dallas.
You're putting Randy back ahead of you in the competition, Chris.
No, I stole a point from him that I actually didn't really steal, that you tried to give him earlier in the year, but it's all right.
Yeah.
Randy, why don't you go ahead as the expected team leader or competition leader for next week?
I'm just going to make it quick. I think I would agree with the interceptions on Dallas. I think that Purdy's a better quarterback than Geno. Tua is like we said earlier, does have a lot of picks, but I just don't see the Commanders' defense right now being able to pick off a lot. So I think Dallas takes that. Team win, Dallas. I also am predicting like Topher does a close game, but I think that San Francisco is going to rock the Eagles this week. I think that the Commanders are going to lose. I think it's going to be a little closer. I don't know if they cover either, but I think the Commanders lose. I don't know if the Dolphins cover. All that being said, is I'm looking forward to the week after next. That's going to be a pretty awesome game. I think we're setting it up to be both be 10-3 teams if my predictions are right, and who knows? But that still won't be for the conference. We would have to go in and beat Buffalo, Miami, and Washington, I believe, and have you lose at least one of your games against the Giants twice in Seattle. So I don't know. I think it's a kind of a boring week. There's big spreads on almost every game except for the Philadelphia game. I think that is going to be a good game, but besides that, I'm not real excited about the week. So, Gregg, go ahead.
What time is that Philly 49ers game?
4:30.
Should be game of the week, right?
Yeah, 4:30.
Absolutely, game of the week.
It'll be interesting to see if the Philadelphia comes back out again. That's for sure.
Surprised they didn't flex that game, Gregg.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. I think they have until tomorrow, to be honest with you, to flex it to Sunday night. But I don't know.
They flex that early in the season?
I think after Thanksgiving you can start flexing, yeah. Or the week before Thanksgiving. Leonard left Dallas without a contract, like Paul said. So now is heading to Philly tonight. So we should hopefully have him signed, sealed, and delivered by tomorrow at lunchtime, boys. So look out for your text message to come, letting you know we landed a Pro Bowl linebacker. Sorry. Let me get going here. I love it. I love how you guys are down us. It's been this way all year, and I love it. I love every second of it. We're home dogs. Hear those dogs barking. Woo, woo. Here we go. We got the Georgia Bulldogs on the line. I'm taking the home dog.
A lot of
Birds
dogs.
Win.
A lot of dogs.
Birds win. And I'll tell you why. My prediction is Purdy has a couple picks. It's raining. It's nasty. And it's gross. And we play them in the trenches. I think we got. I think we can handle them. I'm nervous a little bit about Debo and their speed, but if it's rainy and slows down a little bit, I think we just pound the ball and we take time, possession, and we just run the ball. I think that's what we do, and I think that's how we win.
Call that secret weapon.
Did you see the comment? Did you see the comment from the Beard of Knowledge? The Beard of Knowledge said the refs is going to be the reason you win.
Yeah, again, right? Did not see that comment. I apologize. So I'm taking the Birds. I think I'm going to take Seattle +9. So I think Cowboys win, but I think Seattle covers with the spread. I think it's a little bit closer. I think it's a low scoring game. I think it's a Thursday night special. I think it's going to be maybe 24-20 Dallas. And I'm taking Miami minus 9.5, 10, whatever it is. I think they blew the doors off of Washington. Team wins. It's going to give Eagles and Dallas team wins. I think the Eagles win the interception and receiving total touchdowns. I think that's going to go to Dallas. I think they're going to put up 2, 3 touchdowns. I think they're all going to be by air. So that's what I'm looking at for myself. But it's. I think I'm feeling almost a little bit different than Randy. Obviously, I think we got our game, but I'm curious to see what Thursday night's going to bring. I think Randy's been downplaying Seattle all year. I think Seattle's a decent team. I think they're okay. I think Charbonnet is now their lead back, so it should be interesting to see how he does. I know whatchamacallit's had an up and down year at their quarterback, so it should be interesting to see. Other games out there, I'm looking to see. Again, I think Miami's going to blow up on Washington. But I'm curious to see the Chiefs Packers game on. I think that's 8:30 or Sunday night game.
Kansas.
Looking forward to that a little bit. I want to see the Chiefs Packers. I want to see how the Chiefs come back after that Raiders win. There's been a lot of talk. I know Rice had a big game, so I'm just curious to see if he's going to step up and be the receiver that they need, or what Kansas City does. It's, to me, the AFC right now is a crapshoot. I mean, you got Baltimore, you got the Chiefs. Hell, I think the Steelers are even in contention to be
They're
a decent
impressive,
playoff
man.
team.
They're literally bottom 5 in defense and offense, and somehow
Dude,
they got
Steelers are awful.
it's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
It
So I'm like,
amazes me how he never, like, he always has a winning record, though. Tomlin
Yeah,
always has
he's a
a
good
winning.
coach.
Yeah.
Great coach. Yeah, I'll be curious to see like how that all plays out. The teams that I thought were going to be really, really good in the AFC, the Chargers. I mean, they can't win a game. I mean, they're literally. I feel like they're losing on purpose now. So it's the AFC is the toss up for me. I think you got 4 teams. I think you got the Eagles, 49ers, Dallas, and Detroit in the NFC, and I think they're solid teams. But in the AFC, it's a crapshoot. I
Not
have no idea what's
Seattle,
going to
You
not
happen.
guys,
Seattle, right?
you guys really believe in the Lions? I'm starting to. It ain't just a loss
No.
on Thanksgiving either, but they don't scare me, man. But
They don't scare me, but with their schedule, they're going to be there. I mean,
yeah, they're definitely
they
one
will
of the
be there.
contenders. But I just think playoff time. I think Philly would handle them. 49ers would handle them.
And it also, to me, it also depends on where they're at. If they're at home, they're going to obviously be tougher. I think they got, a
That's how I
decent.
feel about Seattle too. I think if
Yeah.
Seattle was at home this week, I think that would be tight. I think Dallas would still win it. It would be more like an Eagle fashion, little squeaker.
Squeak.
But
That's it.
yeah,
I think we should rebrand it to the Eagle Squeakers,
Eagle
the
squeakers.
Philadelphia Squeakers. The
I'm
Philadelphia
thinking. You're talking about the
And-
AFC. I've been having these feelings of a Baltimore 49er rematch possibly in the Super Bowl. That would
Bite
be
your tongue.
interesting. That'd be a fun one to watch.
No, it wouldn't. It
No,
would
I
be a
would hate
horrible
that
game.
because the Baltimore fans, not all the Baltimore fans are annoying. Only the Baltimore fans that I know are super annoying. So I just do not need that. I just don't need that.
Yeah, you would definitely hate it. Yeah.
Paul, go ahead and jump in there.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll start with our game. Yeah, I don't agree with a lot that some of y'all said. I don't think we're going to cover the spread at all. And like Chris tried to do, I'm gonna take the Dolphins at receiving touchdowns. I think they're gonna win it because we're not. I think the Dolphins are a fun team to watch. I always like when the Dolphins are play. A lot of times they let me down in the games that I think should be competitive and be fun to watch, like against the Bills and stuff like that. But then against teams like us and the Denver Broncos, could put up, 70 points. Yeah. So
It's a good call on the receivers.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be all that close. Brother-in-law is actually going to that game. He's a Dolphins fan, so I hope he has a good time there and none of the freaking sewage pipes burst over his head like they do pretty often up there. As far as the game this Thursday, I don't think it's going to be very competitive. If it was in Seattle, I think it would be. I think we played our hearts out that time that we were at PJ's against Seattle up there in Seattle. It is a tough place to play, just like it is in Kansas. Just ask Alice. But I don't think that's going to be very competitive either. I think that's going to kind of be a blowout as well. So I think that there's a good chance that Dallas sweeps the categories. As far as the Eagles game, again, I disagree. I think the Eagles are going to win. I think it's pretty ridiculous. I don't care what Vegas says or what they're thinking. but you've got the number one team in the NFL at home, and you're making them a dog. Now, I know that Vegas always knows, and somehow they always freaking do, but I just don't see it happening.
Maybe they're switching refs this week.
I mean,
if they are, it's going to be trouble for the Eagles. They might not win another game this year.
Well, unless the refs can throw the ball for Brock Purdy, I think they're in trouble. I think Brock Purdy's the reason that they don't win. It's not going to be Christian McCaffrey or George Kittle, even Debo and his big ass mouth. You know,
Dude,
I think
George
or the defense.
Kittle can't do anything this year.
Well, you love that T-shirt, don't you? But
what T-shirt?
George Kittle's famous.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah, and then they lost like 3 straight. So yeah,
Bet you Dustin would have caught on to that.
Yeah, probably.
Very cute, very cute.
Absolutely. So yeah, I actually think the Eagles are going to win, and of course it's a 2.5 point spread, which means they're going to win by a freaking field goal, those bastards. And I know they don't. And Chris, I know you're off this week, but I'm going to talk about your game next week. You play the Packers, and it's going to be just like playing the Patriots and against the Jets. It's going to be god awful football to watch. I don't care if you win. It's going to be god awful bad football.
Dude, it is rough. 10-7. Oof. It was rough.
Yes.
I agree. I enjoy football. It's tough, man.
Yep. But yeah, those are going to be my picks for next week. I got 2 blowouts, and I got the Eagles squeaking it by. So pretty much the opposite of quite a few of you said. So we'll see how it pans out.
Well, I'll point out real quick that you were spot on last week about Washington getting blown out by the Cowboys. You said the Cowboys were going to put up 40. They put up 45. You're calling it again this week a blowout. I'm going to go put $100 on the Dolphins.
There you go.
You're good.
I'm kicking myself. That was a good. I wish I'm not allowed. I wish I could change my pick. That was a good point about the receivers. And you're right. As soon as you brought that up and talked about that 70-point game, yeah. So you got Dallas with 2 wins this week, and no, I guess Dallas. You think Dallas can win? All right, you got Dallas sweeping the week.
I actually do. I do think so. It's going to be hard for me to give any category to the Eagles, because I also wouldn't give it to the Niners, because I think it's going to be so close of a game. I don't think there's going to be tons of anything. There's going to be a few of everything on both sides of the ball. I think it's just going to be close, hard-nosed football. You're not going to see somebody throw for 4 touchdowns. You're not going to see 10 interceptions. I think it's just going to be a good hard-nosed. It's going to be a football game you're going to want to watch.
For sure.
Looking forward to it. I think that's all going to be all for now. We'll see everybody in a week. Looking forward to these games in week 13.
Yes, sir.